He's going to play some indoor golf tonight, 7 o'clock TGL. Luke Clanton, he won the McCormick Award. He's the top amateur in the game of golf a couple of years ago. Also won the Ben Hogan Award. And as you know, through PGA Tour U at the Cognizant Classic, got his fully exempt PGA Tour card. My friend, good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to be here on a nice early Monday morning. It's perfect.
Look, Monday media is such a treat for you guys. I know it's the first thing you want to do. I know you didn't play this past week, but thanks for taking a few minutes. You know, when you were having all these great finishes in tour events, I was coming on there and I'm like, you know, you look at people and you go, you know, they've got an aroma of belief. And sometimes that's overreading body language. I'm curious, were you a confident kid? Like 10, 11? Did you like, yeah, I can do this? And I'm not just on golf, like anything. Were you a confident little kid?
You know what? I'm going to give it to my mom and dad and my sisters. I think our whole entire family was so competitive all the time. No matter what we did, we kind of made it a challenge. So it was just one of those things where I wasn't confident, but I knew that if I tried hard enough, I could get it done. So if I had to train harder and harder and harder every single day for golf, I knew I can do it. And to me, I think the process of becoming good is even better than just becoming good. So I don't know. That's kind of the way I look at it. And obviously I'm very competitive in everything I do, but I try to keep it as humble as I can as well.
You know, we are people who cover sports. They compare athletes, and a lot of it is stylistically. It might be personality driven, and I struggle with comparison because I think it can be detrimental. But golf, you're right next to your opponents. You have conversations with them. You become friends with them. Have you ever been guilty of comparing yourself to, especially at the college level? You guys all know each other. You're on teams together. You ever had any challenges comparing yourself to other people?
A lot of people try to compare me to other people, but I'm very good at just staying to myself. You know, I have 3 things that I believe in, and those 3 things I believe in all my heart and everything I do. So it's one of those things where, no, I love what I do. I know who I am, and I know how hard I train. I know what I can get done and do. And, you know, if people want to compare me to people, it's okay, but I'm my own person. It's pretty simple.
You know, when you were in pursuit, and it became a really good storyline because of all the great finishes that you had, all of a sudden you're racking up these points through the PGA Tour U system. In the Waste Management Phoenix Open, like you're, you know, I've talked to a lot of guys, and I'm like, how often do you think you've hit live shots on television? Guys who've like played for years on tour, and they're like, I don't know, probably not many. You know, they're showing shots of yours because there's a gravity to what you were trying to do, and you didn't right then. Then you go to the Cognizant and you do it. Was your approach coming down the stretch? You were not going to win the golf tournament. You had a good week, but was your approach, was your mind in a peculiar place because there was a benchmark you were trying to achieve, but it wasn't to win the golf tournament? Was it different?
It was definitely weird. I think it was definitely weird at the Waste Management last year. I think. You know, obviously, you know, 6 months before that, I wasn't even really thinking about getting a tour card. I was just going to play events on tour and just trying to play the best I can. And then this kind of whole scene started to happen of, you know, maybe I can get my tour card and maybe do this. And then we get to Waste and everyone's talking about it. And I was like, oh, okay, this is pretty big. All right. And then I remember getting up to hole 16 and I couldn't even hear my caddy. You know, it was the most craziest scene I've ever been in my life. And I remember, like, I couldn't even stand still. I had to just get up and hit the golf shot. I was like, I have to just hit it. I can't. This is brutal. But no, I think, and then heading into Cognizant, I think I had one of those weeks. You know, I remember on Wednesday night, I was kind of sitting in my bed and praying and just saying, hey, you know, I don't care if I get my tour card or don't get my tour card. I know that no matter what happens, I have the people behind me that support and what I do. And, you know, it's easier said than done, obviously, because you want to get your tour card, but I knew no matter what happened, I'd be fine. And I think that's something that I struggle with, and I think a lot of golfers struggle with as well. It's kind of being okay with the mistakes and everything, and because we're such a perfectionist. Yeah, I mean, it was just incredible. That whole scene with all my family, friends, everyone down there, it was pretty cool.
So when you make the transition, there are certain things, look, with respect to people you're going to work with, picking a caddy, which is a great story by itself, by happenstance at the North-South. And then I know Joe Russo, your trainer, it's like, okay, you got to start eating some food. Like not like 3 meals a day, like never stop eating food. Now I know when you play golf, and there's plenty of food where you play golf. It's like the buffet is like 24 hours a day. How is that? Like when you're trying to go from like 162, 165 to 180?
Yeah, I was so pretty skinny when the summer ended. I weighed about 158 pounds, and my coach, Jeff Leishman, looked at me and he was like, "Hey, Luke, you're looking a little skinny." And I was like, "Oh," I was like, "Appreciate it, man. That's great to know." But then, I was talking to my trainer, Joe, obviously, and I was like, "Hey, I was like, I'm just going to eat a lot of food. I try to eat clean and gain weight, gained 2 pounds. And I was like, screw this. I'm just going to eat as much as I can. Donuts to everything you can imagine. It was not clean, not pretty, but I went from 158 to 180. And wow. I felt like I was a bowling ball walking down the fairways. So I was like, okay, let's slow it down a little bit. I lost a couple pounds. So I'm like at 170, 169 right now. And I feel like if I can gradually just put on muscle and gain a few pounds here and there, it'd be a lot better. But it's definitely fun eating whatever you want, because I had a great time doing that. No doubt about that. No,
there really is nothing more joyful than eating whatever you want. I mean, seriously, there's very few things better. TGL, when you played in the Golf Channel games at the end of the year, that's a TV show. That's a sizzle reel. It's intended to be that way. And I think that certain players, look, you're around Rory, you're around Scottie, a lot of big name players, but you stood out. And I'm just wondering, the environment itself, why is that comfortable to you? Because you seem very comfortable.
Yeah, I was, obviously I was a little bit nervous, I'm not going to lie to you, but I remember the long drive competition, we were warming up before it, and I was like with Sam Burns, and we were ripping drives, and I was like, gosh, man, I'm pumped, I'm ready to go. And then they're like, okay, Luke, you're going last. And I was like, what? I was like, I had to wait like 20 minutes. I just warmed up. So I was like, shoot, I'm just watching all these guys hit golf balls, and I'm like sitting there and I'm like, damn, dude, like no one's missing a golf shot. So I was like, I got to make sure I hit this good when I get up there. And then they put me against Luke Donald, and obviously Luke is like one of the people I used to watch growing up. Like I loved Luke Donald's short game and putting. I mean, gosh, what a bunker player as well. And remember he stepped up there and he hit a couple drives, and then like I stepped up there and I almost felt a little bit bad, like not to be rude, but like,
well, he's in the wrong weight class. I
didn't want to be that guy and start hitting drives 330 over him. I felt a little bad, but no, once the first drive connected and it went straight, and I was like, okay, I'm good. All right, let's go. And I kept teeing it down and just kept going. I mean, again, I kind of keep trying to say it's just, I love the pressure of it. I think obviously no matter the outcome, no matter if I do it well or do it bad, the pressure is something that I think every golfer looks forward to. And I think that's something that, I don't like to shy away from. I like to kind of be in that moment. And if it doesn't go my way, it doesn't go my way. That's just how it works.
The TGL environment it's different. It's indoors. And now you've got like elevated ambient sound, which does something to your adrenaline, which the byproduct of that is that you may produce even more speed. How do you harness that seriously in that environment?
Yeah, I think a big thing is just enjoying it. I think a lot of people overthink it. It's just to me, it's a game of golf. It's a game at the end of the day. We're playing a game. It's not like it's life or death. So when I'm out there playing, I'm just enjoying it because again, we're hitting a little white golf ball 300 yards, and that's what I do for a living. It's pretty cool. So it's, my dad used to work 3 jobs. My mom worked 2 jobs. So like seeing them do that and seeing me play golf as a living is like, okay, like I can do this. My dad worked from 4 a.m. till 9 p.m. If I can play golf, I can do that. So it's been really cool to kind of add that perspective, especially mom and dad. And yeah, it's just the way I look at it.
Where you're living now, if I threw a blanket in any direction, it might land on 3 of the top 10 players in the world. So you have an environment where you prepare where you're around people who do what you do, who've already done a lot, and now you're playing TGL with a lot of the same people. I'm just curious how open your ears are and how curious you are about whether it be just accidentally or by probing other people and asking questions. How much are you taking advantage of the environments that you're in?
Yeah, I way more than you think. It's honestly bad. I think I bother them a little too much sometimes when it comes to it, but I don't really care because I'm asking so many damn questions. But no, I think the one person I was a little scared to ask questions to was Rory. I remember, Canadian Open, my first ever pro start, and it took me 2 days to ask a question, and I stuttered the question for like a minute straight, and he started laughing a little bit, but it was great. And it's just so cool to see these guys out here, and all the guys I watched growing up. And I was with Scottie, and I was naming off every shot he had in the 2022 Masters, and asked him how he 4-putted on the last hole. Fun questions, but also questions about the mental side of it. I think we all have different golf swings. We all have different ways we move with the golf ball. We all hit different golf shots. I think the same thing, though, for everyone is mental. And I think the way that Rory does it and the way that Scottie does it is in ways, but the same way. That makes sense. It's kind of confusing to say it, but it's just kind of cool to see the way that they go through their shots, go through their momentum, and go through their routines. Like, their routine stays exactly the same. That's something I noticed. Those top guys, same speed, everything.
Yeah. First of all, it's hard to remind yourself that they were where you were and asking questions. I promise you, when Rory had an afro about 15 years ago, he was just like you, asking questions of guys who've been around a little bit. Before I let you go, the folks at Shady Oaks knew that you were going to be on, and they're curious to know when you're going to repay them for that tee marker on the 8th hole that you shattered.
I knew once you said Shady Oaks, you were going to say that. Oh, man. I think that was hole 8 out there, too.
I just said terrible. The 8th hole. Now, that was not an anger. Yeah. That was just to give people an understanding. That was not an anger. You teed up very close to the marker.
It was a little bit of stupidity. I was trying to hit a big old high fade, and I was like, I'm going to tee on the left side of the markers, right, to get around the tree. I did get around the tree. Just ended up with like a half of a driver face when I left. So that was the only bad thing about that. But I remember like our coach is pretty on us about not being mad, don't slam clubs, don't break clubs. And I'm walking on the fairway with a half a driver in my hand, and he looks at me, he got pissed quickly. Then I was like, Coach, I swear, you gotta believe me, I hit a tee box. And he's like, I think that's almost worse. And I was like, okay, fair enough. But no, it was if I ever go back there, I'll definitely give that tee marker a kiss and repay it. I got it.
By the way, that little nugget, compliments to the aforementioned coach. Trey Jones gave me that little nugget. So listen, have fun tonight. I really appreciate you taking some time this morning.
Of course. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.